Oh, this is great. I was just here to pick up a curry pizza, and I saw you guys here. This is fantastic. Hi, my name is Sam. I work for you, and I am pleased to be joined by, well, obviously a lot of wonderful folks, but a couple former colleagues. One, Councilmember Nancy Powell. Great to see you again, Nancy. It's a pleasure to see you. I saw Roger just a minute ago. I also know former Councilmember Pat Saucedo is here. Thank you, Pat, for all your leadership. And I am thrilled to be here because I know how much Jim Zito cares about our city. I have seen the hours that he puts in, just in my experience with him when he was serving on the General Plan Task Force year after year, and those meetings went on way too long, I know from personal experience. All the years he put in on the Planning Commission, all his effort with the District 8 Roundtable, and I came multiple times and saw his energy, and of course, all the energy he devotes to the school board, not to mention all that he does as a volunteer and a neighbor. I am so thrilled to see that somebody who's so deeply committed to the city is willing to serve as a council member. And it's a former mayor once remarked to me that about government, that it's a little bit like when you watch the dog play the piano. You don't really care how well the dog's actually playing the piano. It's just the fact that the dog is playing it all that's impressive. And sometimes people feel that way about government. And I can honestly say, in my experience working with Jim through a lot of very contentious hearings and meetings, that he was always there prepared. He had always demonstrated that he was going to think independently about each and every issue. Nobody was going to tell him how to vote. And that his passion was about doing the right thing. Even if that meant it wasn't popular. Even if he was the only one in the room who was going to say what needed to be said. And so that's why I am thrilled to be able to support Jim Zito to be our next council member here in District 8. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I remember when I was on the Planning Commission, and Mayor Sam was a council member at the time, and he came up to me and goes, "So Jim, when are you running for City Council? So Jim, when are you running for City Council?" "Sam, I'm running for City Council." So when I look at it, all of you, I'm humbled. There's such a diverse group here, both socioeconomically, but also from various places around the Bay Area. I'm totally honored. I'm kind of over emotional because my daughter is here from New Mexico. I haven't seen her in months. And I see that there's also politically diverse people here. People that I've talked to on issues when we were not in agreement, and people who I've talked to on issues when we were in agreement. And it really didn't make a difference what letter was at the end of your name. It all had to do with what's in your heart and what you care to do for the city and for your community. And that's the way I've always ran things. Well, some of you who don't know me, a lot of you might say, "Hey Jim, you kind of speak funny, where are you from?" And hey, I'm from New York, and what about it? But you see, in the early 1900s, both sets of grandparents came over from Italy, southern Italy, through Ellis Island, and they settled in Brooklyn, in New York. And that's where my family has lived for 110 years. Okay? Obviously, the kids grew up, and they had kids, and we've all moved out, and a few of us came out to the West Coast. Some of us went down to Florida, up to the upstate New York, and so on. But I finished my degree out on Long Island in 1980, got a computer degree, and came out to Colorado. Spent 4 years in Colorado. Was an engineer there for a while, and figured I'd check out California because they were recruiting. So I said, let me see what it's like out there. I hear good things about the weather. It was kind of cold. It was in the middle of the winter in Colorado, and I said, let's get out there and check it out. And I got out there and I liked it. I says, I could probably do some work here and go back to Colorado. That was 35 years ago. Never got back. So my dad was a 42-year union man with the New York City Transit Authority. He used to pull front ends out of buses. My mom was a seamstress, and then a stay-at-home mom. Okay, 7 of us lived in a 3-bedroom house in Brooklyn. So we know what it's like to how can I say, eat a lot of pasta and beans, right? Christmas, socks and underwear a lot, right? We always had clean clothes. We always had, we were always able to dress well when we went to church, but that's pretty much what it was, right? We learned how to work hard and to get to where you needed to go. Earn that degree, okay, go out and do something. And my father would always say, you always got to leave things better when you leave than when you got there. And that's really what it's all about. My dad passed away about 2 years ago. He lived to be 98, so a nice long life. And those words will always stick with me, right? Leave a place better than when you got there. For most of my adult life, I worked in high tech and always kind of volunteered because I knew computers, they can make you crazy after a while. You have to get out there and do stuff with people. I managed some real smart people, way smarter than me, doing tech support and system integration around the world. Okay, so I really got to know how things get done around the world and how they solve problems. And to start with the issue and the question of what is the problem you're trying to solve? Really what it comes down to. So they instilled an urgency in me to find real world solutions to real problems in real time. Okay? So being a lifelong learner, I understand the importance of education for our youth. Okay? Getting a high school, my father didn't get out of high school. My mom didn't either. They never got that high school degree. Out of the 5 of us, my siblings, myself, only 3 of us got college degrees. So I really do understand the importance of education. That is why I've always volunteered in the schools. That is why I said, let me get on the school board. Let me see what I can do to help things out. So when asked to volunteer for things like Day in the Park or Day in the Bay for almost 10 years with Mr. Catesi when he was council member and Ms. Herrera when she was council member, I get up at 5 in the morning and work till the event closed and I even clean up. When asked to serve on the Evergreen East Hills Visiting Committee, I did so for almost 7 years. And then I asked to be appointed to the Planning Commission and served 8 years. When I was asked to serve on the Envision 2040 Task Force, I did so for 4 years, and then the 2 update committees after that. In 2010, when I saw that our schools were suffering from cutbacks and increases in class sizes, I wanted to stop these cutbacks, and so I ran for school board, and I got on. I've served almost 10 years on the board, and when teachers and administrators said, Jim, you don't know what it's like to be a teacher. Okay? You know what I did? I got my emergency teaching credential and I taught for 3 years in middle school. Now I see a need to help the homeless, okay, to reduce taxes and fees to ensure that San Jose has a strong and vibrant economy for the years to come. So what am I doing? I'm running for city council. And I won't just talk the talk. I'll walk the walk as I've always done these past 2 decades. So I'm here to tell you that what I see in 4 years from now after I'm elected is I see a stronger, safer neighborhoods that work together with local law enforcement to cut crime. I see communities working with developers and planning smarter infill projects to bring needed homes and businesses to the district. I see our carpool lanes staying on Capitol Expressway so that our residents can commute to work back and forth in a reasonable amount of time. And I'll tell you what you won't see. You won't see as much homelessness. You won't see escalating fees or bureaucratic red tape hindering San Jose's economic development. Let there be no mistake. I'm in it to win it. And the way I'm going to win it is by telling my story. And the way to tell my story is to get out there and pound the pavement. And I'm going to need a lot of help. So, when you signed in today, there were sheets and it asked you if you could take a lawn sign, if you can volunteer and walk, okay? If you can make a donation, okay? That'll all be great help because I want to be your next council member.
Every good Italian needs a Sicilian closer, so it's my job. And I just wanted to put a little exclamation point on what Jim just told you. There are 3 things that are going to help Jim win in March, if not November. March, we got to win in March, right?
In March.
Yeah, we got to win in March. All right.
It's quick, 3 and out.
That's right, we got to do it in March. So, it's time, it's talent, it's treasure. Time, we absolutely need your time. If you're willing to knock on doors, make phone calls, that is what wins campaigns. Your talent, we need you to write letters to the editor. Let folks know who you're supporting and why, and what Jim has brought to your community as a teacher, as a school board member, as a planning commissioner, as a neighborhood leader, in all the ways that Jim serves our community. And then, of course, treasure. I want you to give Jim all your money.
That would be illegal, Sam.
Actually, you can't do that. $600 is the maximum.
All I can take.
All right. So fortunately for all of us, he can only take $600. But nonetheless, I hope you will give generously because these races are expensive. We know it's a big district. There's more than 100,000 people here. And Jim is going to get to every door he possibly can, but he's going to need some resources too. So please give generously. I think I see the bag man here. Jim Reed is passing out the envelopes, as well as Eddie. So please do whatever you can, and thank you for being here to help support Jim Zito.
Woo! All right. Hopefully you stick around, and we want to do another photo now that we got the mayor here, so we can do another photo. But before I finish, I'd like to acknowledge my staff and my family. Trevor's here from Axiom, who's my consultant. And we got Tom, my treasurer, here from Political Communications. We got Bonnie Mace and Denise Belisle, who's helping amazingly. Of course, my very special second and better half, Danelle, who's been keeping me straight and taking good care of me. Okay. And I'm just so pleased to have Anthony and Jessica. Where's Jessica? Over here, that are here with me. My 2 of my 3 children. The love of my life, and the reason why I do what I do, because why else would you do it, right? It's for your kids. It's for the next generation. It's for the people you love.